how are you today? Today we're talking about rainbow in a jar. This is truly a scientific mystery. Remember, we've been talking about matter. Matter is everything that we have in this world belongs to a state of matter. Today we're talking about liquids. Liquids are always able to be poured. However, some liquids are thicker than others, and that means that they have more weight. Today, we're going to discover what liquids have more weight than others and what it does when we put them in a jar. So let's look over here. Density is measured by how much stuff, such an unscientific word, is in an object or liquid, and how tightly that stuff is put together. We call that stuff atoms and molecules. Remember, the closer the atoms and the molecules, the less the item moves. So a solid doesn't move at all, but a liquid has a little bit of leeway. That means the closer the atoms and molecules are, the thicker the liquid is. The further away the atoms and molecules are, the thinner the liquid is. So today, we're going to work with some very thick liquids and some liquids that aren't that thick. We're working with honey, corn syrup, dish detergent, water, olive oil, and rubbing alcohol. And we're going to find out what happens when we put all of those objects, those liquids, into a jar. So let's see what happens. Hi, here we have our jar of honey, and honey is very thick. I'm going to put the honey into the jar, and I have to be very careful not to touch the sides of the jar. So here we go. Okay, so we have our very first layer of a liquid. This is a very dense or a very, very thick liquid. The next liquid we're going to try is called corn syrup. As you can guess, corn syrup is made from corn. I'm just going to pour a little in this jar so you can see how thick it is. Here we go, it's very thick. I'm going to add some purple food coloring to this so you can easily see the difference between the corn syrup and the honey. So here you go. I put in the dye, and what I'm going to do is stir it up. And here we go. We've made our corn syrup purple. Remember, corn syrup is not safe to use once we put the food coloring in. So once again, I'm pouring it in, and I cannot touch the sides. Let's see what's happening. Okay, so if you look at the jar carefully, we now have two layers. We have the honey, and then we have the corn syrup. Now we're ready for the third layer, and here it is. We use regular dish detergent. Blue is a great color to use because it shows a great contrast between the purple and the blue. So here we go. We pour this as well in the center. Okay, here we go. And if you look carefully, I think I'll put some more in there so you could really see the difference. Here we go. And here we go. And if you look carefully, we have the honey, we have the corn syrup, and we have the blue dish detergent. Okay, the third color that we're using is water. And I'm going to put a little food coloring in the water as well, so it's green, and we have a little contrast with the green. So here we go. I'm mixing the water, and this is a little bit different. The water needs to touch the side. So I'm going to put it in this. This is called a baster. And you might have one in your home, and slowly, I'm going to slowly have the water go down the side of the jar. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, I can see the difference, and I'll get a flashlight later and you can really see the difference. Okay. All right, the next item that we're using is here, and this is olive oil, just a plain jar of olive oil that we use in our home. And I'm going to use the baster once again. Yep, I can see the difference. Okay. There we go. There we go. And you could see that very, very thin layer of olive oil on the top. And our last layer is something called rubbing alcohol. If you use this, you really need to have an adult with you. So I'm going to pour the rubbing alcohol in a container, and I'm going to add a little bit of, let's see what I have, orange, to give it a little bit of color. Okay, I'm hoping it'll mix in. If not, it won't work. There we go. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take this as well. This time I'm going to use this dropper. I'm going to put it down the side. And if you look carefully, okay, so I want you to look very carefully. And I'm going to go get a flashlight, and we're going to see the different colors. Look at this now. Some of the colors are very difficult to see from each other, but now I'm going to put a very light bright behind this, and you're going to be able to see the different colors. And there you go. Honey. Here we go. Then we have corn syrup, and then we have dish detergent, and then we have our water, and then we have our olive oil, and then we have our alcohol. So you can see that different liquids have different weights. So a quarter of a cup of water weighs a lot less than a quarter of a cup of honey. And this is what we call rainbow in a jar to show you what density is. So use your scientific minds, look around, observe, and learn about the world around you. Have a great day and keep thinking.